him that kind of stands out to you through, the time that you've gotten to spend with him?
He's one of those guys that I've known a long time, having recruited him out of high school there, out of Pensacola. Was part of his final decision before he picked Florida. And so having recruited him, great kid, comes from a really strong family dynamics, his mom, Betty, and has a host of brothers and stuff, good kid. From a football standpoint, obviously the thing that's attracted us to him is the big play ability. He's a 205 to 210 pound receiver. His run after the catch ability, really stands out. He's a physical player at that position. Typically you've got to coerce receivers to be physical and to go in and block safeties and block linebackers. But, Jacob's one of those players that has no problem with the physical part that comes along with the game of football. And he's really been added tremendous value to the receiver room.
Is there a play from fall camp that kind of shows that physicality?
Not necessarily a play, but I can tell you this. 2 days ago, he showed up in my office almost with tears in his eyes saying, "Coach, I want to be a gunner on the punt team and I want to go cover kicks." And when you talk about a wide receiver that's begging to be a gunner, which is going down, tackling the punt returner and covering a kick, not being a kick returner, he wants to cover it. So to me, that speaks volumes when you talk about the toughness that you want to see a guy play for. And he literally came in my office to say, "Why am I not covering kicks and going down as a gunner? That's what I love to do." So not necessarily a play, but definitely I think that shows the type of toughness and the type of character that he has as a wide receiver.
And then one last question. You knew him, obviously, like you said, when he was coming out of high school. What have you seen as the biggest change, whether it's personality, whether it's in play style, from then to now?
I would say just more the maturity part of it. When you recruit a guy as a 17, 18-year-old senior in high school, to see him now, the way he's gone about his business, he takes his academics really seriously. A guy that really works at the academic piece. Has been a great teammate. As far as his game, he was a guy coming out of high school that could very easily be a starting corner somewhere. But just seeing his development as a route runner, his release ability versus press, and he plays with really good play strength. Typically receivers don't play with the strength like maybe a Deebo Samuel type guy, and I see him in that mold.
Thank you.
We'll go to Alex Flum.
Thought it was
muted.
How's it going, Coach Loss?
What's up, Alex? How you been, man?
Pretty good. Just 2 days away now. First off, does it feel real that we're already almost here at the start of the season? And second, do you feel like these guys are at where you were hoping they'd be at just a couple of days before the season?
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun, Alex, and definitely enjoyed our summer camp in terms of just the way our team really came together. We talk about being connected and committed, and I really feel as though that we were able to get that accomplished during training camp, because to me, that commitment and the connection is what's going to be necessary, because we all know at some point we'll face adversity as a team and individually. And it's how connected we are and supportive of each other that we are, that's going to help us get through those tough times. And I really like the way this team has developed in those areas. Obviously, when you talk about getting ready, if there's one thing that stands out to me in terms of our preparation, training camp is used to develop the calluses that are necessary to get through a tough, rigorous year, especially playing in the Big Ten and the Big Ten East. But I think our conditioning levels I've been really impressed with. Was really impressed with the job our strength and conditioning staff and training room has done, along with our sports analytic people, to get through a training camp. And I'll knock on wood that we had no season-ending injuries out of camp, which I think this may be the first time since I've been back that we didn't have or sustain an injury that we lost a guy during training camp. Just kind of speaks volumes to the development that we've done and things we're doing off the field to prepare our players. So those are the things that jump out most to me.
I just had a quick follow-up. Talking to some of the guys at the beginning of camp, it seems like, just Talia and even like Tarheeb and other guys on the defense, whichever side of the ball, it seems like they had this kind of humble swagger to them where I want to get your take on it. From my perspective, it seems like they're coming into this year with a lot of confidence, but also the recognition that they still got to do the work. Have you kind of gotten that vibe from your players this year that they kind of have this new attitude going into the season?
I wouldn't call it a new attitude as much as I think the buy-in to our players really believe that the things we do to prepare for a season and to prepare for the success we want, it's almost like expecting to win and hoping to win. As I like to say, hope is not a game plan. And if you're hoping to win, then that means there's some doubt. I think our players really believe and trust in our process that we have, which creates the right kind of habits and behaviors that allow you to have a chance to be successful. And if you see, that piece of it, to me, that's where I think the swagger comes from, because they know they've done the work and they will continue to do the necessary work to give themselves a chance. The humbleness is something that it's what we're all about in our program. Whether we're winning big time, we're always going to have respect for the game and know that it's not just about me. Team is first, and that we'll be able to reach all of our individual goals if we put the team goals first. And I think that's where being humble is part of the DNA of what we want to be as a program.
Last really quick one for me. I apologize if I missed this, if you might have mentioned it on Tuesday, but the receivers, Dante, Rakim, Jay Sean, do we have their status for Saturday yet?
All are available to play, and I expect Dante Demas, Jay Sean Jones, Rock all to be out there to first play.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
We'll go to Noah.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Noah, what's up, man? How's your first day of school, man?
Good. So Rakim Jarrett made the number change from 5 to 1, and that's following in the footsteps of some great Maryland receivers from the past. How do you think he's earned the right to wear that number 1 jersey?
For me, I'm not a big fan of the number 1. When Rock first got here, he had an opportunity to wear the number, and I kind of said, look, let's not put the added pressure on yourself. Same conversation I had with Stefan. DJ wasn't number 1 when he first arrived here, I don't think, on campus as a freshman. But obviously the number became available. In this day and age of being a player-centric program, he's a guy that, he wanted to change the number. If you notice, we have a whole bunch of number changes this year. This is really the first year I've allowed that to happen. Typically, I'm a guy that whatever number you come in with, I'm not big on changing, because the minute you change one number, you have the floodgates open up, and now you see, Ami in a new number, and, Mo Kite went from 34 to 33. And if you track, like I'm sure you guys do, we've had a host of players change their jersey numbers. And, that's where we are in the landscape of college football, that, if a guy wants to change a number, I don't want that to be the difference in him staying or going. And I hope that we don't recruit players that, a number change is that important to them. But as a coach, I think it's important that if, this day and age of being what I call player centric, which means we're here to partner with these players to provide them with leadership and with the necessary resources and tools to help them be the best version of themselves. And then they've got to go do the work. So to me, he asked for the number, it was available. Just like everybody else in our program, I allowed him to change the number. And I know it's a big deal for a lot of people. I know it's gotten a lot of marketing, but he's still 5 to me in my mind. And I still kind of call him 5.
Does anyone have anything else?
I have another one if no one else does. Coach, you talked yesterday, you talked on Tuesday about using 2 tight end sets. How do you balance wanting to get CJ and Corey on the field, wanting a running back in, for protection and running the ball reasons, but also wanting to get, your 4 or 5 talented wide receivers out there as well?
I mean, that's part of the chess match for us. I mean, if anybody that's followed me on offense and understand Dan Enos, who calls our plays on offense, we're a pro style, multiple personnel, multiple tempo style offense. And so we're going to play in 2 tight end sets. We're going to play in 4 receiver sets. We're going to play in 11 personnel or 21 personnel. The goal for us is to get our best players on the field and to get our best players touch opportunities. If we do those things on offense, we'll usually have the big plays necessary to give ourselves a chance to be successful on Saturday. And so, I do think being able to run the ball, it's a little easier out of 12 personnel where you when you have two tight ends to balance a defense up, have two long edges and allow your running backs to kind of find lanes. But we will be very diverse and have a ton of multiplicity in how we attack people. But as I said on Tuesday, you know, one of the things we hadn't done is run the ball consistently. You know, the last two games of last season, I thought kind of showed where we want to go with our offense, the ability to run and throw the ball when needed. We know we have the ability to throw the ball with the skill and the quarterback we have. We want to establish an identity of a team that can run it when we need to, and that's what it's all about with the use of those personnel groupings.
Thank you.
Go to Scott Green.
Hey, Mike.
Scott, what's up, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, things going good, man.
I'm just kind of curious, looking at the initial two deep, you see a guy like Jay Sean listed there as one of the starters at the Mike position. And, talking to Ruben the other day, he kind of mentioned that he's maybe not the most talkative guy. And then you look at the safeties, you got two sophomores starting there, two new guys there. Who do you think is kind of the vocal leader quarterback of this defense on the field, going into week one?
Yeah, to me, you're always strongest in the middle of your offense and defense. So that's where your leadership typically comes, is right down the middle. The quarterback, the center, Jahari Branch and Talia Tungavailoa. For us on defense, Ami Finau, our nose guard, our Mike linebacker, Ruben Hippolyte is one of our leaders. And, both Dante Trader and Bo, even though they're young players, Dante was thrust into a leadership position a year ago. He's part of our leadership council along with Bo Braid. Both those young guys have been in this leadership role from the time they stepped foot on campus. And so they're both very vocal. They both have done a great job of the communication necessary on the back end. So, like I said, most of the time, your leadership comes from right down the middle of your team. And, you look at the safety position, the Mike linebacker, the nose guard, the center, the quarterback, and then, the running back. That's typically where you'll see the leadership come from.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.